Do y'all see the connection here? Do y'all see this going down? And look, we've come this far with all these regulations and everything creeping into our personal life. Where do you think they're going to be by the year 2050? Now, in the year 2050, most of us alive, a good portion of us alive today will be alive in 2050. What are we going to be living with then? Look, I always say that, 100 years from now, 99.9% of us are not going to be around. In the year 2113, 99.9% of us are not going to be alive. That are alive today are not going to be alive then. Yeah, there's going to be a few people, and many of them might be, under the age of 10 right now. They might be around. But the vast majority of us, 99.9% of us, in the year 2113, because this is 2013, in the year 2113, we're not going to be alive. It is going to be our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. They're going to have to deal with the mess that we're creating today as far as our government and everything else. However, in the year 2050, many of us alive today will be alive in 2050, and the vast majority of us will be senior citizens or quickly approaching that age in the year 2050. We're going to have to live with what we are allowing today, and I guarantee you that we are not going to like, including most garden variety next door neighbor Joe Blow liberal, is not going to like what our country is going to look like as far as our government is concerned in the year 2050 if we don't stop them now. But 2050 is not that far off, folks. It really isn't. I mean, if you're 50 years old now, can you read 40, when you were 10? Well, there are people going on to, their 40th and 50th high school reunions this year. I mean, look, does it seem like 40 or 50 years have gone by since you graduated? For most people, no, that was pretty damn fast, actually. Yeah. We don't got 40 years to get to, close to it, but we don't got 40 or 50 years to get to the year 2050. This is 2013. You got less than 40 years. So what, in 37 years. Even if you're 40, you're still going to be 87, 90. It's a good, a good portion of us are going to be alive. How are you going to live? I mean, hell, look, I also told you about, if you've been listening to the show for the past nearly 4 years now, then I've also warned you that your Social Security retirement age is going to go up, and that those people under the age of 50 or so are probably not, especially if you're under the age of 45 or 40, you're not going to get any Social Security benefits. And now, yesterday came out, and I wasn't on the air yesterday, so I couldn't share this with you, but yesterday, in case you didn't hear it, there was a report, and I think it was one of the business magazines came out with a report that businesses are now asking for the retirement age to be raised to the age of 70. Now, many people are thinking, well, Jeff, I was planning on retiring at 62 and a half or 65. Now you're going to tell me I got to work until I'm 70? Yeah, well, that's to get your stupid Social Security, your full Social Security benefits. And remember, you just spent 2 years of losing 2%, which adds up to more than 2% by the time you retire. Because you had a tax break of 2%. Now, understand, it was a 4% break. Because not only did your portion of Social Security taxes go from 6.2 to 4.2, so did your employer's portion. Ooh, that's a 4% decrease in your benefits, folks. and you didn't even know it. So, where is all this going to end? Where is all this social caring and social engineering going to end? Where's the line? Where's the cutoff for that even a liberal won't, where's the line in the sand that even a liberal won't cross over? I don't think there is one. And they're getting it done not by your vote and through elected officials, but through all the myriad of unelected bureaucrats from all these unelected appointed boards all over the place. Why don't you, if you don't believe that, even just go into your city or town hall and ask them how many boards are there. Different boards that govern different parts of the different aspects of your city or town government. Ask them. You're going to be surprised at how many unelected people there are, some of them which don't even live in your city or town, are dictating how you are living. And it should make you livid. Here it is from Reuters. U.S. business executives call for raising the retirement age to age 70. A business group of top executives on Wednesday, yesterday, proposed reforms to Social Security and Medicare that would raise the enrollment age for both programs to 70, but not raise Social Security taxes paid by upper-income Americans. Now, understand this. There are three ways you can handle the cost of these entitlements. One, you can raise the taxes. Two, you can lower the benefits. And by lowering, there are a myriad number of ways you can lower the benefits. You can lower the benefits by actually lowering the benefit. Instead of you getting $100, you're only going to get $99. You can lower it by increasing for Medicare your out-of-pocket cost before it kicks in. There are a myriad of ways of doing it. And the third way is to reduce the number of recipients getting benefits. And how do you do that? Change the age. You automatically drop out, so many millions of people if you raise the age by 5 years. And you also increase the amount of time that people have to pay into it, which actually is a tax increase. Because if you don't get to retire when you're 65, that means you're not going to get full benefits. But most people are going to have to still obtain and have a full-time job. That's a tax increase. And there are different ways you can increase taxes. Now, the Business Roundtable, which represents more than 200 chief executives from some of the largest U.S. corporations, also urged Congress to add a premium support mechanism to Medicare, peg Social Security cost of living adjustments to a lower inflation gauge, and raise Medicare charges for wealthier beneficiaries. So, they're talking about digging it to the rich, the wealthy, in this. But why? Because they see it going bust. Now understand, in its current incarnation and form, these social entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, they cannot be sustained. And raising the age to 70 is also not going to sustain it, because there's a dirty little secret, folks. Now think about this. On one side, you've got liberals who are saying, well, we want you to be healthier because it's going to reduce our health care costs if there are fewer fat people. Well, if people are healthier, that means they live longer. If they live longer, it means they're going to be taxing the Social Security system. And it means that there is going to be a larger increase in cost on the Medicare side for taking care of people as they get older. Their age-related diseases and illnesses will increase. Let's face it, if most people die by the time they're 75, you don't got to worry about it. You got 10 years of benefits. But, hey, wait a minute. If we increase their health, now they're starting to live to 95. Well, hell, that's a long stretch of time that we have to pay out. Oh, we got to do something about that. And folks, it's going to get to the point where, as we become more enlightened, that human beings will live longer. We're going to get to a point where the average age could easily reach 100. I mean, we all, many of us, if you die before the age of 100, before the century mark, you die prematurely. And most Americans die prematurely. Most human beings on the planet die prematurely. Isn't it medical science saying that the human body is actually designed, if you want to call it designed, to be able to live healthfully to about 125 to 140 years old? That's over a century, folks. Healthfully. There are people now that die of old age, not a disease. They just die of old age. They're 90 years old. Their 89th birthday, they're running a marathon. They turn 90 years old. 90, 95. Not a single real disease that they have to take lots of medication, but they don't have any problems. But then one day they don't feel so well, and a week later they're gone. Natural causes, they just died in their sleep. You enter the world quickly through birth. You should exit quickly. But many of us, we linger in terrible health for years before we pass on. So as we become more enlightened and health conscious, we'll live longer. And we'll live healthier longer, which means all those retirement plans are going to get stretched to their maximum. And thus, if we live longer, and if we begin to live past 100 on average, which could happen within the next century, which could happen within our lifetime, that the average person starts to push the boundaries of living an average life to be 100 years old, and most of that time healthfully, so they're going to be using that Social Security system and draining it of funds. It's not sustainable. This model is a pyramid scheme, and it is not sustainable. That's the whole point of a pyramid scheme. It can't be sustained. There just isn't enough people to support it after a certain level of use and after a certain amount of time of use. Plain and simple. So, yeah, we can live for quite a long time. Human beings, generally speaking, we can live a long time. We can get there. But at some point, we're going to have to pay the piper. And there are people today that see this as a problem, but we don't have anybody on the liberal side who wants to take care of this. No, it'll be fine. We'll just raise taxes on the rich. Well, if we're using today's standards, we've seen that line for rich go lower and lower and lower. Used to be that, millionaire was rich. Well, you're rich if you have $1 million. Make $1 million a year, that's rich. And now we're down to what? Obama campaigned on $250,000. Oh, that's rich. Oh, Joe Biden said $200,000 was rich. And there are some liberal people in government that think if you earn a six figure, so $101,000 to them is rich. And believe me, there are people who earn less than 30 grand who think people who earn 75 grand a year are rich and would love to see them taxed more. So folks, this whole line of who is rich and who isn't, that line is getting lower and lower and lower. I don't know what I have to do or say, But don't doubt me that this stuff is coming our way.